Let me ask you something, dear friend. Have you ever walked away from an argument with your husband wondering how in the world did it end up being my fault? Have you ever done that? Well, if that's been you, I want you to keep watching. You didn't even start this thing, right? You weren't the one who even said it wrong, right? And somehow you're the one that's apologizing. Isn't that crazy? That's crazy, right? And so, for the next few minutes, dear friend, I'm going to tell you exactly why this keeps happening over and over again. And I'll give you three, yes, three things you can actually say the next time this happens. Okay, so you have to stay with me. Here's the short version, right up front. Okay, it's very likely it's not that he thinks you're a bad wife. That's not what it is. It's that his brain processes conflict in black and white. Okay, right or wrong. Um, it's one person's fault or the others. That's it. There's no gray. There's no middle ground. And there's no room in his system and in the way he thinks for, oh, I guess we both did something wrong. We both have a small part in this to play. No, that does not reside in his thinking. So I'm going to unpack exactly what that means for you in just a minute. Okay. So hang on. Now, here's the thing. I've had this exact conversation. Uh, I can't even tell you how many times. Okay. Um, and by the way, my name is Olivia Hall, and I've been married to my husband for over 25 years, and I'm still here, still growing. We're still married, and we're still figuring this out right alongside with you, dear friend. Yeah, I'm a wife just like you. Maybe a few steps ahead, maybe a few years ahead in your marriage. But so I want you to know that this isn't theory. I'm not just making this up. This is what actually has worked for me and still working over these years. Okay. So if you're ready, are you ready? So, hey, you ready? Let's go. So let's talk about point number one. So the first thing I want you to understand is I'm going to call it the certainty trap. Let's just title it for kicks and giggles. Okay. So, for a lot of husbands um, who process the world more rigidly, they're very structured. And your husband may be one of them. He probably is. Conflict to them doesn't feel like a conversation. It feels like a math problem. Yeah, it feels like a math problem. So here it is. There is a right answer and a wrong answer. That's it, right? You know, this is not him being mean or cruel, dear friend. And he's not plotting, to make you feel small or make you feel bad. This is a good man whose brain is wired to need things resolved. Okay. He needs things categorized, he needs things closed. Okay. And, he can't deal with, his mind can't process like something like, we both had a part in this. His mind wouldn't say that. It would not compute. He wouldn't say, oh, this is a complicated conversation. So, this is complicated and we both probably had our sides. No, 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 that's not going to come from him, right? That's not going to work. What will come from it is it was your fault, right? It lands on you. It does. It does. Okay. So, you know, and it doesn't make it okay by any stretch of the imagination. Okay. Um, but you're going to learn why this happens over and over again, right? And even though this is how he thinks, it doesn't really make it okay. It just means you're not dealing with a mean, cruel man who's doing this on purpose, right? You're just dealing with a person who lives in the black or white world. There's no gray, right? Okay. Well, let's go on to point number two. And let's talk about why it feels like it lands on you it falls on you every single time. Let's talk about that. So why? Why does it? So because you, dear friend, let me tell you this, you're the flexible one. Yes, you're the flexible one. You're the one um, who can say, this is what you can say easily. You can say, honey, I hear that I hurt you, and I still think you overreacted. Mhm. You can say that. Your brain can process that without your whole world falling apart. You can do that, right? Yeah. He can't. He can't hold both of those things at once. Okay. So he doesn't. He picks one, right? And because you're safe and because you're patient and because you keep coming back, right? You become the place where the blame falls over and over and over and over again. Yeah, it's you. And the fact that you can kind of hold complexity to get together, the fact that you can say, I hear that it hurt you, and I think you overreacted. It's actually the very thing that's kept your marriage standing this long. That's a superpower you have. Yeah, it is. So, but it also means you probably have been the one who's been absorbing and taking in the blame all of this time that has never really been yours, right? And here's what I don't want you to do with this information, right? I don't want you to use it as a weapon, right? The goal is for you to stop internalizing every single conflict as proof that you're the problem, because you're not. Every conflict, oh, he's going to blame me. I guess it is me. I am the problem. No, you're not. No, you're not. You're just the one in the relationship who's able to see that there is a gray area. He can't even see the gray area. He can't see the in between, that he had a part. And maybe I did have a part. I don't know. Maybe I did. Right? Okay. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Let's go on to point number 3. And this is the part that you actually came for. This is why you're watching the video. What do you say when this is happening in real time? So we're going to talk about 3 scripts to say in the moment. So here's the first script, script number 1. So this is it. So when he says, this is your fault, this is what you're going to say. You're going to say, honey, I hear you're frustrated with me. I know you are. I'm willing to look at my part in this. And I need you to know this isn't only about me. You see how I did that? Short, calm. You're not arguing the facts in the moment. That's not what you're doing. You're refusing that all or nothing that framework. It's either black or white. Either it's your fault or my fault. You're refusing that without going up to 10, without escalating, right? You got it? You see what I'm saying? Okay, go on. Good. Okay, that was the one. Script, let's look at script number 2. So here's one thing. When you feel yourself about to over apologize just to get the whole conversation over with, have you done that? I have. You're just tired. You know what? This is going to go on for like 3 hours. I'm tired. I got other stuff to do. I got to take a nap, right? So, okay. This is what you do. You don't, when you're about to over apologize just to end it, this is what you say. I'm not going to agree that this was all me, honey. I'm not going to agree with that because I don't believe that it's true. I don't believe that is true. So, honey, let's come back to this when we are both calmer. hmm That's a good one, isn't it? Yeah. And this script is for you and just as much as it is for him, right? It gives you permission to just kind of step away, right? To leave the conversation before, before you talk yourself into some, something that you don't actually feel, right? So you're like, I'm just going to drop it. This is the way I'm going to get out of it. Okay. Right? Those are pretty good. Okay. Okay. And let's go on to script number 3. So you can use this for later. So when things have calmed down, right? And for you to sort of open the conversation back up. So this is what you can say. You can say, honey, can I share something with you that I noticed earlier? I felt like this whole thing sort of fell on me. It sort of landed on me. And I don't think that that's fair for either of us. Did you notice something? None of these scripts try to convince him that he's wrong. None of them do. And let me tell you something. You are not going to win a who's right conversation or argument with somebody whose brain needs right or wrong. You will not win. I've tried. It does not work. You will. I mean, if you were like the captain on a debate team, you're still not going to win it. You're not. Okay. But what you can do is refuse to be the automatic answer to that equation every single time. Okay. So, you can go back and scroll through, scroll. You can rewind this video and watch it again if you want to hear those scripts again. So try them out, try them out. Yeah, you should use them. Well, now if you're probably watching this video and you're saying, this is my exact marriage. My husband and I, we were just going round and around yesterday. We were arguing yesterday. I could have used this. Well, I don't want you to just remember these 3 lines or these 3 scripts and hope you can pull them off in the middle of an argument. No, because in that moment when you're arguing, that's a hard word. You don't really think clearly, right? When you're in the middle of an argument, you're just letting it fly, right? So I put together something called the Peaceful Conversations Checklist, right? It's free, it's completely free, and it's basically sort of a checklist, that you can keep close nearby. The exact phrases to use when a conversation starts, it starts heading the wrong way, right? Um, and so, I will put a link in the description below if you want to grab that. Again, it's free, so you can check that out. And if you're in a season, dear friend, where, you want to go a little bit deeper than just a single conversation, and where you really want a step-by-step way to reset how conflict happens in your marriage, that's exactly what I built the Peaceable Marriage Reset Toolkit for. Okay. And I'm going to put the link below for the Peaceable Marriage Reset Toolkit right below. You can grab it at any time. It'll be there for you. No pressure. No pressure. It's just there whenever you need it. Okay. Well, this is what I want you to walk away with today, dear friend. The blame you've been carrying every time there's a conflict, okay? A lot of it, that blame, it was never yours. No, not at all. It's a pattern. Yeah. It was never yours, really. And I would love to know, I would really love to know what's the one thing your husband says in the middle of a conflict that you wish you had a comeback for? I would love to know the answer to that. So just drop it in the comments for me, okay? Because I do. I read every single comment, and really some of the best video ideas come straight from you. They do. And if you feel like this has helped you to feel a little less alone in your marriage today, please subscribe. Subscribe if you're new here. Subscribe so you don't miss being notified of the next video that's coming. You want to know when the next video drops, right? And if you've been with me a long time and you've subscribed, thank you. You're such a wonderful, wonderful blessing in my life, and I really appreciate you. And I hope you're gaining value too, and learning something and feel like you're in a community, right? Okay. Well, um, and if you want to go deeper, here's something else in communication specifically. I've got a video right here. I think it's right here on what to do when he shuts down mid-conversation instead of blaming you. So go watch it now, and I'll see you there.